Hello, my name is Tiandria Jones. I have my ID issued here. Um, Today I'm going to be talking about the Kenneka Jenkins case. It was back in 2017 when the Kenneka Jenkins case came out, or when she was murdered. It took place in Chicago, Illinois. I did use the Chicago News article as my source, or as my article for the Reaction Project. It was published by Mike Ewing. I don't want to say notes, but I have a few things jotted down here, what I'm going to discuss in this summary. And the article it was given a little bit of background about Kenneka Jenkins in the case, and just the feedback on what her family was going through. It was on the Dr. Oz show, and that's the article I associated my project with. Kenneka Jenkins was a 17-year-old who was killed in a hotel in Chicago, Illinois. Her body was found in the hotel's freezer. The cause of death was hypothermia. The cause of death wasn't mysterious. It was how she died, like what led up to her dying, that was in question. It was a typical weekend with her friends. They threw a party, but everything went south. She was a minor who was consuming alcohol. There were accusations and later questions about her being raped prior to her death. The hotel staff and her friends were accused of having foul play with the whole murder, because there were different stories. Like, the friends' stories weren't adding up with the facts, with the autopsy. The hotel staff, same thing. They were pretty much saying how she was under the influence, or she was so drunk that she had no knowledge that she had left the hotel room where her friends were and walked herself to the freezer. There was no footage of her actually walking in the freezer. There was no footage of her ever leaving the hotel room. She just randomly disappeared, and like a day or two later, they found her body in the hotel freezer. I associate this case, one of the things I associate with the case is nature versus nurture, which of course is what you already know or what you're not taught, versus what you learn or what you pick up on as you grow in an environment. Jenkins was influenced by her peers. She was forced by people who were there at the party. She was raped. Jenkins was normally an athletic and studious young woman. She knew to carry herself as a young woman in a polite way, yet influenced by her peers that led up to her murder. As stated, she was not really the drinking type. She wasn't the party type. However, she was influenced and forced by her friends to consume alcohol. They stated possibly drugs, but there was no proof of drugs. The ridicule and the socially cultured naysayers are biased because they are on the outside looking in. And with that, the entire article opened up my perspective a little more about how not just women, but young people are ridiculed because of the social standard that is held amongst others. And that pretty much covered the case. And it was the contemporary psychology as well was also associated with the Jenkins case. Because again, she was socially ridiculed and culturally ridiculed, again, because she was a young woman. She was only 17. The police officers, the hotel staff, everyone ridiculed her and her family because of their lifestyle, their environment. The entire situation, the entire case was so baffling to me. The investigators were very negligent. When she was reported missing, they advised her mom to report her missing the next day. Give it like 19 to 24 hours. She was advised, but there was, proof, like she was just with her friends in a hotel and she just randomly went missing under the influence, of course. Why would I wait to report a minor missing? Even after the investigation, like a day or two had bypassed, the investigators were still searching the hotel room, searching the perimeters. It wasn't until like a day later where they found her body in the freezer. It was just so shocking. At this time, she was older. I was only maybe 15 or 16 at the time when this happened. So it was so scary to have that happen. And it was shocking. A lot of people were shocked. And then how she died, they were trying to leak images of her in the freezer. They were putting out false images, false footage, just a lot of false information. And it was there was a lot of commotion again. And with that nature versus nurture, we're taught things. We're not more so taught, we know things. As a young woman, right from wrong. Jenkins, being a 17-year-old woman, knew. I know if I'm at home, if I'm in the comfort of my own home, I'm going to take into contact or take into perspective, hey, I'm around certain people. There's a certain way I have to carry myself as a young woman, because there are bad people in the world who harm young women. That's just the world today. She was typically a studious young woman. She got around her friends, easily influenced, forced in this situation. And, we know things, yet when we are in a certain environment, it's like everything we know just goes out of the window. And that was the whole case with Kenneka Jenkins.